Matt Stepp, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, back here at the Texas High School Coaches Association and Convention in beautiful San Antonio, Texas. Here with a guy who didn't have to drive very far to the convention, the head coach of the Cibolo Steele Knights, Coach David Saenz. Coach, appreciate you taking a few minutes to chat with us.
I appreciate you inviting me on.
Absolutely, Coach. And, you're one of the last year you guys were the last team in the Alamo City stand-in, had a great year. You go 13-2, get all the way to the state semifinals. And I feel like it was one of those things last year where Steele for so long had been really a state power, and I don't want to say you dipped a little bit. You had some years where maybe that you didn't have as deep a playoff runs as you liked, but last year you kind of reestablished yourselves as a contender, not only for the Region 4 title, but potentially a state title contender. How good was that to get that program that I know is so close to your heart back up into the conversation statewide?
It was a huge part, and that's what we talked about as a staff. And at the end of the year when we did our, just a self-reflection of how the season went is, it had been, I think, 6-7 years since we had made it to a semifinal, and to get back and for our kids to experience that, and then with the guys that we have back for their senior year this year, that's going to pay dividends for us, in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, you went to you made that deep playoff run with a team that you have a lot of juniors and a lot of guys who are coming back, and now being a guy who's coached on state championship teams and teams that played in state championship games, those deep, this as well as anyone, those deep playoff run games are different. Those games in December are a lot different. Now those guys that are coming back have that experience in December and can pass that on to the younger guys. And you can't put a value on it, can you?
No, you can't, because when you get to that level, the talent's either going to be equal or they're going to have more talent than you. And you got to understand that as a team, you can't make those mental mistakes. You can't make those pre-snap mistakes. You got to make sure you're playing with confidence, because anybody that you're going to play with, 4th, 5th, 6th round is going to be extremely talented. So that was a huge part for our guys to go out and see that it's a whole different mentality when you get to the especially the Final Four and then the Final Two.
Sure. Now let's look. Looking now we're here at coaching school. Obviously, it's a great event. It seems like I don't know how it could get bigger, but it seems to get bigger and bigger every year. And for me, it feels bigger when it's in San Antonio. It's such a great place to host this event. How nice is it to have this convention right in your backyard?
Oh, I love it, and I know our coaches love it. You can come out, you get to network a little bit, see coaches you haven't seen in a long time, and then I get to sleep in my own bed. So
there you go.
That's a plus. Being able to get home and then follow my normal routine. But we love it here. We know it's been. I think I talked to one of our coaches that works on the staff here. I think they're expecting like 17,000, 18,000.
Yeah, I heard possibly 18,000. That's great. It's unbelievable.
That's huge, and that's awesome for our association.
And you walk through here. Do you wish the district would just give you a blank check and just kind of come around to all the vendors and just buy whatever you want? A lot of great stuff here.
There's no doubt. There's top of the line. You name it, they got it. And
a lot of toys, right?
I wish. I wish they would give me a blank check.
A couple of off-season things I want to talk to you about. First off, let's talk about realignment a little bit. Not a ton of changes for you guys, but a couple of modifications there. I mean, overall, what is your take on the new district? Any surprises for you, or did you kind of as you expected?
I guess one of the surprises was maybe Buda Johnson getting in there, but I'm glad we got 7 instead of 6, because finding that 5th non-district
games is tough.
Game was a hassle. But our district's always tough. You got Judson, Clemens, Canyon. They're all extremely well coached.
Sure.
And our staff, the way we set up our preseason schedule was because of that, and we want to try to make sure we have all our weaknesses, get those wrinkles out, so that when we get to district, we're rolling on all cylinders. Because if not, the coaches and the athletes are good enough to make you pay for those things.
Absolutely. And then UIL, the NCAA put in the rule about allowing the use of sideline technology or technology in the press box and those kind of things. How does that impact you guys? Have you kind of figured that out yet, or is it going to be kind of a learning experience?
We've been talking, some different systems that we have that we could put into place, and I think it's going to be a week by week, stadium by stadium. It's going to be trial by error and things like that. But I think it's a huge part, and it can help. And that's what we talked about as a district, as we talked about as a staff, is we want to make sure that we give our kids every opportunity to be successful, and our coaches to put our kids in the opportunity to be successful. And so we're looking at every avenue we can to make sure that we have those advantages.
And I guess in 6A stadiums in a metro area like San Antonio, it might not be as big of a deal, but it might get dicey in some of those 2A schools out west.
Exactly.
No internet, no cell service. Like, how do you get that to work?
Right.
So it'll be really interesting to see how that kind of matures as that rule goes into place.
Now,
We talked about last year you guys making the semifinals, and it's not like you guys don't have a target on your back locally because you guys have been a perennial power in the area for a long time. But do you feel like after last year's run, have you told your kids, hey, if we're not getting everyone's best shot last year, we're definitely, that target's grown a little bit because we had such a good year, and you guys have a lot of talent back, a lot of players that people statewide know about. Do you feel, is that one of the things you have to tell your kids, hey, we're going to get everybody's best shot each and every week, and we got to be ready to play?
Yeah, we've been telling those kids that, obviously this offseason, and then it comes, from being hunted to being the hunter to being hunted.
Sure. And
you're going to get everybody's best shot. Everybody's going to circle that game, and you can make somebody's season by getting beat or not playing well. So our focus is taking it week by week, making sure that we're playing our best football the later we go on in the season, trying to get those puzzle pieces in the right spot. I know we got 9 back on offense. We'll have a few there. We got 3 or 4 back on defense that we're going to have to, the pieces are there. They just haven't had a whole lot of experience playing on Friday night. So,
sure.
As the season goes on, we'll get those pieces in the right spot and hopefully stay healthy and make a run.
And those pieces, playing that, you mentioned the non-district schedule, playing that non-district schedule helps you kind of figure out, okay, these puzzle pieces may not work in this situation, or we need to switch some things around. Your philosophy of non-district scheduling has always been to play really good teams, and I'm assuming it's to say, hey, we want somebody to expose our weaknesses in non-district so we have time to clean it up before the playoffs. Talk about your non-district slate a little bit and tell us who you guys have lined up. Yeah. I know it's a gauntlet.
Yeah, we start off with Liberty Hill, which is been having nightmares since that game was scheduled. Having to defend a slot T, and they do such a great job of it. And
there's no one that runs it better than them.
Nobody runs it better
at that pace, and right. It's really hard to stop.
And so that's our week 1. And we go to Reagan, which is always a power here in San Antonio as well.
Sure.
And we got Brandeis, same thing with those guys, and then we finish up with Westlake.
Yeah.
And that's going to be those 4 games are going to be big tests for us, and I know we're excited as a staff to anytime you get to play in those type of games, it's a great feeling, and our kids. They love playing in those types of games. And after seeing last year, you played Dripping Springs in the Dome, you played, Summer Creek at Baylor in those types of situations, and you say the pressure, but you got to put your kids in those situations sometimes in order to see how they're going to handle it. And then they don't handle it well, you address it. They handle it well, you address it, in the positive way too.
Sure. Look at, you mentioned 9 starters back on the offensive side of the ball, a few pieces on the defense. Looking at your team in 2024, I've never heard a coach say he has too many offensive or defensive linemen. So I know trying to build depth in those positions is probably key. Are there any position groups that maybe some young guys are still battling that you're looking, hey, when we get fall camp going, we want to see how these guys perform?
Oh yeah, our on defense, our linebacker core is going to be all brand new. So we got guys competing for spots there that are, they're going to get reps, throughout the 2-a-day session. They got reps throughout the spring and coming into the preseason and district. It's competition. The best guys are going to play. Same thing with the secondary. We got to find a safety and a corner. And again, we got guys that we know can do it. We just got to get them under the lights.
Sure.
And that's a whole different situation. Right? Playing on a Thursday sub-varsity game to a Friday night is you can't explain the difference between the two.
Line up on a Friday night against a receiver from Westlake or Brandeis or Reagan is a different ball game, right? When the band's playing and everything else, right?
No doubt. And then our last, on offense, we're tight end H-back is the guy that we had previously. He did a tremendous job for 2 years. That's a lot of that makes our offense go.
Sure.
It's the unsung heroes that get you lined up correctly, make sure that they're knowing all the motions and all that good stuff that's a part of our offense. And so that's a puzzle piece that we're looking to fill too.
Final question for you, Coach. Last year you guys were the last team again in the Alamo City standing. And I know there's a lot of pride, and I know when as teams in San Antonio start to go, in the playoffs, teams make deep runs, kind of the whole city gets behind them. Do you guys take pride in that, and do you feel like trying to there's a little bit of a chip on your shoulder? Hey, we want to get San Antonio back to playing for a state championship, and Dallas and Houston have had some good runs, and Austin, it's our time now. Is that something you guys take some pride in?
We do. We take a tremendous amount of pride in we want to be the best in our district. We want to be the best in the city. We want to be the best in the region. We want to be the best in the state. And anytime that you are the last team in San Antonio. You want to make the city. You want to make the city of Cibolo, SCUC. We want to make
210 proud.
210 proud.
Yeah,
that's a goal on that our kids, our leadership council, our team, our staff, that we've continued to talk about this offseason.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time. We'll let you get back to visit all these vendors and making the rounds here at coaching school. We appreciate it as always.
Man, I just want to say I appreciate all y'all do for Texas high school sports.
Thanks,
I know
Coach.
you guys do a tremendous amount for high school football, but they're also branching out to other sports, and there's a lot of great student athletes in the Texas high schools that need to be they didn't be, the light needs to be shined on them.
Yeah, get a little platform for them, right?
You guys do a tremendous job of that. I appreciate
Coach,
that.
we appreciate it. Thanks so much. We'll let you get your magazine and get you some reading material getting out of here. We appreciate it. And good luck in 2024. We'll see you down the road.
Yes, sir. Thanks,
Coach.